Alright, here we go. Here is the start of the SweCup 2026. It's a scratch race on ledges and lava. It's the first race out of six. You count your best four races, although you have to count one scratch race, one points race, one tiny races series, and one time trial. Anyway, this is the first one. The reason I'm commentating it afterwards, I will not commentate the whole race, but the reason I'm doing this instead of live commentating during the race is actually that you could put up your webcam on Zoom, and if you did that, they could film you on certain occasions, and they actually did that when I took the lead. So that was nice. I'm not sure I will do that next time though. However, in an important race like this, I'm not sure I want to commentate too much either, because it takes the breath out of you sometimes. I have noticed that actually the heart rate goes up. It might be unnecessary to do in the really important races. So I knew nothing was going to happen in the first part here. In a few minutes people might start to push. I was hoping for a big push. I was hoping that people would push here and also on the Titan Screw reverse KOM, because I thought if I will be able to join those guys in a breakaway group, and I think I could do that actually. I think my 1 minute power is good enough to do it. Then, if we are 10 people breaking away, it's almost like I have a guaranteed 10th place at least. So that was the ideal scenario. Of course, the worst case scenario was that I will get dropped from the group altogether, but I knew the risk of that were pretty much minimal, so I wasn't too worried about that. But the really worst case scenario, which was more likely, I thought, it's that everyone in this group are going over the crest of the hill together. Because then my 1 minute power, which is my biggest strength, is out of play basically, because you don't need that too much in the last uphill on the volcano KOM. There I think 3 minute power and 5 minute power is more important. Anyway, also in these first kind of up and down roller coasty type of hills, I noticed one thing that was totally unexpected to me, and that was that trainer difficulty is automatically set at something 50, I don't know, 30 maybe, I don't know. I never ride with anything but 0 on a trainer difficulty, because I like to be the one controlling the resistance. I don't care if it's realistic or not, because I don't ride a bike outdoors anyway. I just want it to be as easy as possible, and I also like to know what gear I should have if I want to do a certain cadence at a certain watts. So this was completely new, totally unexpected. They didn't mention it anywhere before the race. They did mention that they were not going to use power-ups and that they were going to disable steering, so I knew that, but nothing else. Anyway, in these hills, I thought, I hope people will start to go hard here. I hope people will start attacking here, because that means they are serious about trying to break away on the KOM. But sadly, the big names didn't. It's going a little bit faster than normal pace maybe, but 340 watts is not that much for the riders of this caliber, I think. So while it's pleasant to ride us at no higher watts than this, I was a little disappointed here that there was probably not going to be a breakaway, but I was still having my hopes. Maybe. There's one guy in front there, but I don't recognize his name, so I didn't pay much attention to it. If it would have been one of the top names, it would have been a whole different story. Now, I don't know that much about the Swedish cycling elite on Zwift. I know a few names. I know of the top guy on last year's national championship, the second guy, The big favorite, which maybe would have won it last time around if he would have been able to go to the national championship. So it's I knew a few names, but not the second tier names, so to speak. Still really good cyclists, but not the top names. Those I don't know. So soon we are approaching the KOM, and I'm preparing myself here. Let's go, I'm thinking. Hoping for a really tough climb, averaging something around maybe 650 watts for 70 seconds. So I try to stay here towards the front of the pack. I don't want to be in first place, but I want to be ready and alert on possible attacks to join them. Here I'm thinking, why is no one going harder than this? But maybe it's too early, maybe the draft is too high, we're still carrying a lot of speed from the previous section. So here I'm thinking, well, I feel pretty good. There's going to be a downhill afterwards anyway, so all the energy that I burn here is not going to be that bad because I'm going to have recovery. So let's speed it up a little bit. Let's hope that someone overtakes me so I can draft them, and let's hope that we can create a breakaway group here. This is not happening. I'm not going all out here, by the way. That would have been stupid. It's not that I would have been able to create a 10-second gap, but even if I would have done that, they would have caught me anyway on the downhill, so there's really no use going hard by yourself. But I'm going moderate pace. I'm thinking something might happen. They might come, a few guys might roll past me, and we might get it going in the downhill. We might drop a few people, but as you can see on the left hand side, out of the 53 people, it says 60 people on the right, but I think there were 50, I don't know, but there's still 45 people in the main group here. So this is worst case scenario. Basically no one was dropped. I didn't get to use my 1 minute power. I might be stupid. Maybe I should have counted on this happening. Maybe this was the only logical thing that could have happened. I don't know. But I thought the top guys were gonna try to shake off everyone else and create a front group of maybe 3 or 4 people. And I thought maybe I can join that group, or maybe there will be a second group after that. But I thought if I were one of the top guys, I would really like, let's say if I was in the B group in this race, I would really try to shake off guys. I do not want to sprint against 50 people towards the end. So here we go downhill. You really don't have to exert a lot of power. Sometimes I don't even do a single watt. Sometimes I pedal a little bit. It seems like I do more work than I actually do. I mean, going 220, 250, 260, that really doesn't make that much of a difference, I think. I try to stay towards the... I usually try to stay towards the front of the group. It doesn't really matter here in the downhill because no one is going to try to break away anyway, but on the other sections I try not to stay too far back if I can, because I don't want to miss out on an attack. I'm always hoping for an attack. Now not much is happening, so I will play some music until there's actually some action going on. tried to chase down these guys. Maybe not the smartest choice, but I thought if I can join a breakaway group, maybe that's my chance of placing really good. Because I thought if I'm gonna sprint it out with like 45 people towards the end, I'm not sure how I'm gonna finish. Might go well, but I might finish 40th place. You never know. So, but if I can join a breakaway group, of course, if you try to join a breakaway group and chase guys and you don't manage to break away from the pack, you lose a little bit of energy that you wasted. But I thought it's a risk worth taking. Let's see, here we have 26 meters, 30 meters to the guys behind, but as you can see, they will eventually catch us. Here maybe I could have gone a little bit harder, but I don't think there was any use of doing that. They were going to catch us anyway. So although I don't think I burned too many matches on this, still I burned a few matches. I could have just sat back, and I think I should have, because when I look at the video afterwards, those breakaways, they did not include any of the top guys, at least none of those that I know of. But that's a lesson learned. If the top guys sit back and let people go, it's a good choice to also sit back and let those people go. I don't think the top guys would let people get away so that they are not able to catch them. They are good enough tactically to be able to make those decisions. I have realized that now, so I will learn from it, and I will watch the names of people who attack and know if it's worth following or not. So here we are in a pack again, but as you will see, there will be some action in a little while. Right now you can see my heart rate is quite low, 163, 164. It's rising here, of course, because I'm doing more watts, but my maximum heart rate is 187. So this is definitely below VO2 max heart rate. It's more like upper threshold heart rate. Yeah, not really much to say here, so I can speak a little bit about the upcoming races. The next race is a points race, which you must count among your top 4 races. You can discount one of the scratch races, like this race or the next scratch race, but there is just one points race, so you need to count that. Then the third race, so to speak, is 3 tiny races, but that will also be done again, so you can discount the worst week, so to speak, either the first 3 tiny races or the second 3 tiny races that you do 3 weeks later. But the points race is only one, so you really need to nail that one if you want to do good in the general standings. And I think that's going to be the toughest race for me, really. Because there is a time trial also, but that's not that tough. I mean, you look at the course and you calculate the average watts that you think you will be able to do, and then you do the math and see where you should go harder. Of course, in the uphill where it matters more, you calculate how much you can rest on the downhill, and so on. So that's not going to be too hard, but a points race is going to be something completely new for me. I've never done it before, so I really need to think that through. I mean, for instance, the Muckle Gin begins with a 1 kilometer sprint for the first points. Although that is my favorite distance, just 1 kilometer, is it worth really burning all the matches to get those points? Will that affect the race in a negative way for me? Should I just forget about those points? I don't know. I need to think about that, but it's going to be hard tactically for me. Much tougher than doing a scratch race. Here, I think I'm feeling quite good. Let's try to join these guys. So here I'm not doing particularly high watts. I'm trying to get someone to increase the pace also, to overtake me. Because I don't like the idea of those guys being so much in front of us. Although, really, in retrospect, I really should not have bothered at all. Because all the top guys, from what I know, are in the main pack. I'm in the main pack, I should be safe. Just follow what the top guys do, and everything will be fine. Here one guy goes away. I'm thinking maybe join him in the draft. Now he's slowing down. I'm thinking let's catch these guys. And let's sprint a little bit so that no one will get an easy draft behind me. And that way maybe I alone or maybe with one follower will join this group. And maybe that will lead to something. You know, I thought it's probably not going to, but you never know, and I'm here to take chances. Because the reward, I mean, if we could pull away, as silly as it may sound, if we could pull away, it's just 7 people in that group. Guaranteed 7th place. In retrospect, that was quite a silly idea to have at that time. But remember, I have not done cycling for a very long time. I was a runner and I turned cyclist in October, in the beginning of October, maybe late September, I don't remember. I turned cycling. I have raced a lot since then, but not enough races to really get the feeling for the tactics. Although a scratch race like this is maybe the easiest thing to do. And I was watching the broadcast afterwards, and the commentator said here that, maybe not here, but maybe a little bit earlier, I don't remember, but he said if these guys really go, something like this, they might pull away a little bit. So I was hoping to. I was a little tired here. I had done a lot of watts, I think, compared to what I was able to do at this point. So I thought, let's stay towards the back of this group, save some energy, stay in the draft, and we'll see what happens. However, no, I don't want to spoil anything, so let's just watch this. See what happens. As you can see, by the way, my heart rate is still not that high, and it hasn't been that high. Now we're getting up to VO2 max range, but it's still not there. So I'm not really gasping for air or anything like that. However, my legs are tired at this point. And here you see the group is catching us. So here I was thinking, okay, back to square one. What's gonna happen now? I knew I wasn't gonna get dropped until the Volcano KOM, so I wasn't worried about that, but I thought, well, I probably have wasted a lot more energy than all of the guys in that pack. I'm better than some of them, so I'm still gonna beat some of them, but some of them are definitely better than me, and some of them are on my level, so they're gonna be in a better position than me now. So at this point I was in resting mode. I was trying to conserve as much energy as possible to be able to do as good as I could on the Volcano KOM. At this point I was not in a position to really follow any serious attacks, so I was hoping that none would take place here. One guy is going off in the front. I didn't really care. But I was a little bit worried about if the field would stretch like it does here. It starts to stretch and I'm towards the back, and that's not good when you go into these places where you actually might get dropped. So here I did a little bit more watts, and as you will see, I soon enough almost overtake the field and get no draft. I think they're right about here. So soon we are approaching. Soon we will head into the Volcano KOM. I wasn't too sorry. I wasn't too worried about getting dropped in the first half of it. You can see it's basically consists of two parts. It's a slight uphill first. I think it's around 3 to 4% incline. Then there's a flat section. Usually not much happens before that. Usually all the action takes place on the second section because the draft is quite high on the first one. But I was still a little worried. How hard are people gonna go? Is it gonna be 400 watts from the start of the KOM and for as long as you can go? Am I gonna have to do higher than that? How am I gonna place? There's a lot of uncertainty here. And it's like sometimes I always get nervous when I race, no matter what race it is actually. But sometimes I'm not that nervous in certain parts of the race because I know nothing is gonna happen. But sometimes it's like during a race I get pre-race nerves, you know, before an important section. I mean, that never happens when I was running because there's basically no tactics in running. You just go, you pick an average pace and you just go with that pace and try to stay as consistent as possible. Now we're just about to get into the KOM, and like I said, I wasn't too worried about the first part. People usually don't get dropped there. The speed is gonna turn up a notch, but no one is gonna try to make a serious attack on the first one. It's never gonna happen. The drafting is too strong. You see almost a 200 watts going into it. Now it's going down towards 100 watts, but still 130 at some point. Now it's 100 watts of draft again. Now we are slowing down, so the draft goes down, but even 50 or 60 watts at this point is a lot. It really is. If you're going 400 watts, and you see there, I got unlucky and I ended up towards the side, so I get no draft at all. Zero draft, you can see. Now I got into the pack again, so I got the draft and now I'm being forced out again. That's what I don't like about the non-steering thing. You have zero control. There's so much luck involved. You can see the guys in the middle there, they're gonna get drafted all the way. I'm towards the outer end of the pack, so even though I'm generally in the pack, I get no draft. But you see here, 43 watts. When you go 400 watts, those 43 watts of draft is a lot. It's definitely much harder for me to go 440 or 450 watts than going 400 watts. That's a world of a difference almost. So now soon we're approaching the flat section. One guy's going there on the downhill. It's not gonna be any trouble. We're gonna catch him. I thought about the first guy who was leading the race. I thought, I don't recognize his name, but maybe he is a really good racer who's going to walk away with this. But I thought, no, that can't happen. The top guys would never let someone get away. Here actually, I don't know why I go to the front. There is no reason for doing that. I'm just wasting energy. I wasn't trying to catch one of those guys. I don't remember why I do that. Unless you're attacking, there's never any reason to be first in the pack. Never. You should never be first. Unless you're attacking or unless you are about to attack. But even when you are about to attack, I think you should go from a position of draft and then hit the attack. So now we're going into the real deal. This is where it all gonna happen. And you see there's 2 guys in front of us and there's 39 guys in the group. I think really Sauce for Zwift is good to have on these occasions, but because you know how many are in the group, it's hard to know otherwise. So that's a lot of guys. There's a lot of opponents here. I'm feeling quite strong. So I decide, let's not start sprinting here, but let's increase the pace. And when I say sprinting, I don't necessarily mean 5 or 10 or 15 second sprinting. Here I'm referring to long range sprinting. That's what I'd usually do when there's a kilometer left. So I'm not going full out. I am a little uncertain here. When should I start my long range sprint? I'm still doing a little bit over 500 watts, but that's not really long range sprinting. When I start to sprint like that, it's over 600 watts. But I'm not sure here for how long can I keep this up. And since it's uphill, how long do we have left? I don't know that. If I would have raced this course several times and not just once before, I would have known. But here I don't know. I definitely know that I cannot go yet. It's got to be like 800 meters left. That's the earliest I can go. I don't remember exactly what went through my head here, but you see, there are 3 guys in the front, and those ended up in the top 3 places. And I didn't make a conscious decision not to follow that attack when they went. I just didn't. I wasn't paying attention. I mean, maybe I should have tried go with them. I probably would have got dropped. No, I know I would have got dropped. But where would I get dropped? Would I have been able to stay with them here? If so, maybe I would have finished higher up than I actually did now. But in retrospect, I think it was a good decision, or not a decision, but if I would have made a decision, it would have been a better decision not to go with them. Here I start to sprint all out as good as I can. You see, I'm not doing that much watts, but that's because I'm so tired. And here I almost lose a lot of positions when we come to the steep section here, because I am not used to doing having trainer difficulty above 0. So there's like 3 gears for me there. So you see, I'm passed by 1 and almost 2, but I managed to get ahead of those 2. So almost passed by 3 riders, but I only got after 1. I don't know what would have happened if I would have scouted that before, if I would have known that we would have had trainer difficulty something else than 0. I would have geared down to keep my cadence up. Maybe I lost 1 place because of that, I don't know. And I also need to pay more attention when people makes attacks. I played it safe this time. Maybe I could have gone a little bit too earlier, but I got passed by people, so maybe I should have held off instead a little bit. Now people could draft off me. Maybe that was an inexperienced move. I need to look at it more. Either I should have gone earlier, or I should have held off and let people do the work and drafted off them. I don't know. Probably the later. But the thing is, I'm not that good of a tactician yet. I will get there. So I'm very happy with 14th place, actually. Very, very happy. I wasn't at all sure where this could go, and I thought my only chance is to break away with a group in the first KOM. If that doesn't happen, anything can happen. I can end up towards the bottom of the table, but now I see that I can race with these guys. I can finish in the top 20, which is my goal. My goal is to finish top 20 in the whole tour, so to speak, in the whole SweCup. So this is a very good result. I'm happy with it. I did a few mistakes, but I still ended up in 14th place. Next race is going to be hard. I really need to think about it before. I need to think of a strategy. But now I know that I should not use trainer difficulty 0 when I scout the Makalgin. So I will have to go through that course a few times with trainer difficulty on whatever training difficulty they force us to use. I wish I would have known this before today, but it's good anyway. I'm happy, I'm satisfied, and let's just hope I can keep this up.